So already we have come to verse number 61. Huh? We have already come to verse number 61, where some of the questions have already been answered. After all this explanation, and don't forget, the question was, who is a Sthita Prajna? Suddenly, in the next two verses, the whole change has come in the Gyan which Bhagwan is giving. Normally, we talk of reaching moksha, or we talk of reaching perfection as a ladder which goes upward, right? The ladder to moksha, ladder to perfection, ladder to nirvana. It is always ascending. It is always going upward. But suddenly the topic changes only for two verses, which we will do today, and they are two of the most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. Those who are here today are fortunate that today only you are getting this beautiful input. And these two verses don't talk of ladder of ascension. They don't talk of ladder to moksha. Strangely, it is a ladder of downfall. Patan, falling off the ladder, falling off the sadhanas, going downwards. And as spiritual aspirants, how does it help us to know what is the ladder of downfall? Or we are concerned with ladder of downfall. We are concerned with ladder of whatever, going upwards only. Why in the middle of Sthita Prajna, the description, Bhagwan is suddenly talking about downfall? Is it to discourage us from this path? Caution. And don't forget, this caution is also for Sthita Prajna. Because vasanas never die. They have to always be managed. Not suppressed, not controlled, managed. Through understanding, through savdhani. So the world is filled with polarity. There is always a good and a bad. There is always a day and a night. There is always a up and a down. Without that, Jagat cannot exist. So we have to always be alert, always be savdhan against the downward pull of negative forces. So basically, these two verses is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call for every spiritual aspirant that at any stage of your spiritual journey, there is a danger of going down the ladder into patan, he calls it. Okay. Also, there are critical stages, which I will explain to you, where you can arrest your downfall. Let us say that you have fallen for some reason. Upar jate jate you have taken a trip, you have taken a takkar, and you are rolling down. There are certain stages you can control. Now, I sound like doomsday, but if you don't control at that stage, you will roll all the way down. So it's very critical. That is why these two verses are extremely important for any spiritual aspirant. Okay? See, if you go, who has been to Char Dham? Who has gone up to Gangotri source? Anyone? Up to the source? When you go up, not to the Gangotri temple, but to the source where the glacier is, there when you go, that area is fraught. It's completely filled with landslide danger. Any time, and I have experienced that, landslide also. So when you go, everywhere there is one board there. Landslide prone area. Move fast, get out of the way. So here, these two verses are those landslide prone area ka warnings. If you don't catch yourself there, I don't know how many more lifetimes you will need to get back onto the ladder. So be very careful.
And these slippery steps are there even as we are climbing up, not just
100%. It is after climbing up only that you are going to fall. No, from where you will fall. And see, bete, if you are not climbing up, you are not even aware of any ladder. If you have not started climbing, you are living in ignorance. You are not even aware of a ladder up. Forget about ladder down. Until you have started climbing, then only you will fall. Otherwise, so you are already fallen. Otherwise, you are already fallen. On that ISKCON ka satsang, I said, I made one very strange acronym, MPC. Who remembers what MPC stands for? Minimize, protect, and cut completely, right? Minimize. So these two verses will minimize your fall. It will protect you from falling further down. And it will completely cut out all risk of future fall. So it applies here also, MPC. So before we start, I want to ask you all some questions. How many of you get angry? I'll also put up my hand. Yeah, it is natural to get angry. In fact, if you are not getting angry means you are behosh. But how you express your anger has many different ways. So angry everybody gets, alright? Now, how many of you think that your anger is a problem? Anger is a problem for you, difficult to manage. Alright. Is it because your anger comes ekdam suddenly? You were perfectly okay, yaar, and then suddenly something happened and it was not my fault because he said, she said, he did, she did, and that just erupts like a volcano. You think anger erupts like a volcano?
Yes.
Yeah.
Erupts like a volcano.
Now, sorry to interrupt, but I have experienced the other side of anger, which is suppressed.
Which is more dangerous than erupt also.
Exactly.
Silent anger.
So
Both.
violent and
Both are, I can't say more or less, but both are equally, because one consumes you from inside,
correct.
one consumes you and burns you out completely and burns the other person also. So maybe that one is worse. So do you think anger comes without your knowing, right? And it's a sudden outburst. You don't know also that you are getting angry, and there is nothing you can do about it because it suddenly erupts, right? There's nothing you can do about it, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So let's see what Bhagwan says, okay? Chapter 2, verse 62 and 63 together. Two of the very, 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 very important verses of Bhagavad Gita. Let's chant them first. Dhyayato vishayan punsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vipramaha smriti pranshat buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. Gopal, read 62.
The man dwelling on sense objects develops attachment for them. From attachment springs up desire, and from desire, unfulfilled, ensues anger.
Okay. Bhavna, read the second verse.
From anger arises delusion. From delusion, confusion of memory. From confusion of memory, loss of reason. And from loss of reason, one goes to complete ruin.
Wow. Two verses is giving the complete ladder of downfall. Okay, let us see it word by word. First, the meanings. Punsaha means individual. Punsaha means individual. Dhyayato, who is thinking about. Who is thinking about. Sanskrit is very terse. One word, it kind of conveys everything. So I'm just putting it in a way that you can link the whole sentence, okay? Punsaha, individual, dhyayato, who is thinking about, vishaya, objects. You know, vishay means objects. Sangaha, attachment. Teshu, to them. Upajayate is born. So if I take that sentence and paraphrase it, it says, for an individual who is thinking about objects, and that object could be a thing, a person, a situation, an experience, anything. For such a person, attachment to that object, person, situation, experience, that attachment is born for the person who is thinking about that thing. If you're thinking about something, an attachment gets created for that thing. Then what happens after that? Sangat, from attachment, sangat. Kamaha, desire. Sanjayate is born. So you think about something, then attachment for that thing develops. After attachment, what is the next step? Desire is created. Okay? Then kamat, from desire, krodha, anger. Abhijayate is born. So a person, an individual who is always thinking about an object, person, thing, situation, for that person, an attachment is developed for that thing, object, person, experience. From that attachment will be born a desire. And from that desire will be born anger. Okay? Let's go to the next. Krodhat. From the anger, see, it's like a domino effect. Something happens, it creates something. From that, something else gets created, and that is how you see, play dominoes. Ek ko mara to pura nikche. Krodhat. When anger arises, sammoha, full delusion. Moha, you know, is delusion. Sammoha, full delusion. Bhavati, happens. Next step of the domino. Sammohat, from the delusion, smriti vibhramaha, you lose your memory. Then what happens? Smriti Brahmshad, from loss of memory, Buddhinasho, your buddhi is destroyed, your intellect is destroyed. And buddhi nashat, from destruction of intellect, pranashyati, he perishes. Buddhi nashat, from destruction of intellect, pranashyati, he perishes, ruined. Love the prattle of toddlers. So cute. He's agreeing. No, he's warning. Guys, spiritual journey is a fabulous journey. There's no journey better than this journey, but it is fraught with obstacles. It is fraught with dangers, and at every step you will be tested. At every step. You learn. It's like an exam in school. You learn from one textbook, then you have to do the test, then you have to do final exam also. So test में थोड़ा portion आता है. In final exam, full year. So like that, you will have every time small tests. Those small tests are daily happening. Daily they are happening. Every time you get irritated with something, that was a test.
Which you failed.
Which you hopefully passed. Let me say. Every time something bugs you, every time something feels like a disturbance, every time, I don't know, you all know. So every time that test is happening on a daily basis. If you keep passing, then don't be too proud of yourself because the big exam is coming soon. Okay, so there's always going to be some way that either you choose the higher road or you choose the lower road. And that is what your buddhi is there for. That is why you have been gifted an intellect. Which is the path that I need to choose, okay? Now, we are talking about here the ladder of downfall, which in many books, if you'll read in the Hindi or the Sanskrit, it is called patan. Patan means fall. So we are talking about spiritual downfall, which is patan. And this has a specific pattern. It doesn't just happen suddenly. It is brewing like a witch's cauldron inside you. Slowly, without you realizing it, you may be moving into the downfall ladder. That is why Bhagavan Krishna thinks it is better to warn us of this pattern so that we can catch ourselves at the stage of downfall where we can prevent ourselves from falling further down. And there are 9 steps to this downfall. 9 steps. So when you say that anger is happening suddenly, Bhagavan Krishna does not agree. Okay, it was brewing inside, things were happening inside, you were not aware of it, you were not alert about it, you were not aware of it in the sense that you didn't even know that this is a weakness or this is a possible problem that can erupt at any given time. So now you will know those 9 steps. And even after knowing, it is possible that you will still fall from the first or the second step. It is possible. So at that time, if you can see the lesson that you have to learn there. And I have one phrase which I just simply love. And of course, I have borrowed it from Eckhart Tolle, which is find the win in every situation. Find the win in every situation. When a situation is there which is uncomfortable, when a situation is happening that is not in your favor, it's causing discomfort, it is creating trouble for you, it is there to teach you something. And the teaching is how you can surmount it, how you can come out of the discomfort and use that teaching to become stronger, more tolerant, more agreeable, more pleasant, whatever. Accept gladly, whatever is the problem, you will obviously know it for yourself what that particular situation was trying to teach you. Then you will outgrow that problem. But if you are not aware of the lesson that is being taught to you at that moment, it's a lesson, right? You have not been aware of it. Therefore, you have not passed in that lesson. So what you have to do? Repeat. Universe will give you as many chances as you need to to go on getting that lesson. So at last, at some time in this life, you learn that lesson, and then that lesson will be over. That textbook will be over. अच्छा इस lifetime में नहीं सीखा, in this lifetime you have not learnt at all, then what? Next life. Not learnt? Still? 10 lives, 15 lives, 1,000 lives, 84 crore lives, lakh lives, whatever.
Whatever.
बहुत time है. No hurry. All right.